My name is Josh van Valkenburg-Gernert. I'm here with head coach for Hardrocker Volleyball, Lauren Prochazka. Mm-hmm. No Torvey anymore, right?
I mean, if you want.
Okay, just getting started. Last year was one of the best years you've had since you took over the program. You wound up playing in the RMAC volleyball tournament for the first time. You qualified before, but weren't able to play.
Yeah.
What does that kind of do for your program and some of the momentum going into this year?
Yeah. I think that it really prepares us culturally for raising our expectations. I think that our upperclassmen, our captains specifically, have done a really nice job raising those standards over the summer and what those expectations look like for us to be a high-level RMAC championship team. So our newcomers are coming in with a really clear understanding of what it takes for us to be successful and what it takes for our team to be all on the same page. So I think that really just prepared us culturally, but also physically. They came in shape, ready to play and compete at a high level. So it's been good.
And then obviously you had a pretty big group of seniors that graduated last year. One being JC Kothe. She was obviously one of the best players in the RMAC. What is it kind of like to try to replace that group? I know you brought in a couple JUCOs and a pretty big freshman class too.
Replacing JC Kothe is not an easy thing to do, and having a middle as dominant as she is a rarity, right? Like, middles are always available in plays, and they do some really great things, but having a middle be as dominant as she was, that's kind of like having a unicorn. So obviously we're training our middles to be available and great terminators and do all the things that we need our middles to do. But what losing someone like her looks like is our offense changes a lot. We become very pin heavy. We become very reliant on our pins a little more than we were before, because JC could always terminate the ball regardless of what she was doing. So it looks a little different, but fortunately for us, our pins are doing a very good job, and I think that we have the pins to take over that load that she was given.
Sure, and then let's talk a little bit about some of the people coming back. Obviously, Kiley, one of the best setters probably in the conference. Unfortunately, she hasn't been able to put together a full healthy season the last couple of years. How big is it to get her back and being a captain, too, for the second straight year?
Yeah, I mean, Kiley is as good as you could want and ask for. She is not only a fantastic physical setter, volleyball player, but she is a wonderful leader. She very much understands the demands for what a leader needs to do. She understands her teammates. She raises expectations every day. And bottom line is she makes everyone around her better. So having someone like Kiley on the floor is huge for us on and off the court. Last year she grew up a lot in that season run, and she ran a 5-1 for the majority of the season and did a very good job, and obviously was making a name for herself in our conference. I think this year she's going to be even better. She's really developed physically over the spring through the summer. You can tell she's put in the work. She's always been super strong and physical, which I love about her, but her adapting to younger hitters and having a lot more new teammates this year is a challenge for her, and I think she's handling it exceptionally well.
Another of the couple of younger ladies you have back, Paisley Gibson, was one of only two RMAC volleyball players who were freshmen to get honored by the conference, and then Hannah Bennis, a sophomore captain, which is pretty unique. Yeah. What is it like to have those two kind of coming back and being able to lead some of those younger?
For sure. I mean, Paisley is a dog. Like, she is one of those athletes who has my full trust on the floor. I feel like she handles every situation with grace and with really great aggressive mindset. I don't really have to worry about Paisley too much, and she is quite the gamer. She knows how to turn it on, she knows when to turn it on, and she loves to turn it on, which I love about Paisley. She's so competitive, and she's really shown that she is continuously going to be a dominant pin for us. Having Hannah back is phenomenal because her leadership has grown a lot. She's a fantastic leader. She's one of our two captains with Kiley. She's done a wonderful job at not only leading this team, but just the young teammates in general. And obviously having a talent like her as our libero position right now is the best thing we could ask for. She is very level-headed, she's very steady, and she doesn't let the balls hit the floor. So we're lucky to have them both.
And then you have a couple juniors coming in, and Jenna Curtis and Alessandro Mioni. both juniors from Western Nebraska. Both, I mean, it was a really good program, and they both were very successful.
Sure.
How have they kind of been able to acclimate early into the new program?
Yeah. I think both of them have done extremely well. What I love about both of them, coming from a very successful program for 2 years they did really well in, is they don't get rattled very easily. They stay very level-headed. They stay very focused. You really have that calmness around them where they're making people around them better because they understand that the game of volleyball is going to go up and down and you have to roll with it and just dominate. So, been great to have them around. I think they are an excellent addition to our program, and I'm excited to see what they're both going to do.
Here's just last question for you. Obviously, you start this weekend, you're in Shadron, and then the next weekend you're at another tournament just down the road.
Yep.
What do those kind of tournaments do to help you set up for RMAC play?
Yeah. I think the fun thing about preseason tournaments is you literally don't get to prepare in terms of understanding your opponent. We are going in blind into weekend number one. We have no film. We have no understanding of who their lineup is. So it's really all about confidence, composure, trusting our system. So that's a great test for a young team. Can we do that really well this weekend? And then going into the second weekend, we then can scout a little bit, learn some more information about our opponents. So then how do we take our system and put it to test against the information we have early? But it's non-conference, and we're playing some really tough teams. We need to go out and win and have some fun doing it. And I think that's going to set us up for a really tough RMAC schedule.
All right, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks.
I'm with senior setter Kiley Metzger. Well, not really a senior, though, because you have another year left. But thanks for joining me. I'm just kind of getting started. You've kind of been through a little bit of a, shift in just the team makeup now, where you went from kind of being one of the younger ones the last couple of years. Now you're like one of the only upperclassmen. What has that transition kind of been like?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely put in a lot of work throughout summer and spring preparing for, obviously 10 new people coming in. So it's definitely been a lot of work coming in, but this transition has been so seamless through preseason, through, first couple scrimmages, that we're all on the same page and we're all like just one team ready to take on the season.
And then going into your second year as captain, what has it kind of been like to start taking over more of a leadership role? And what have you seen, from Hannah, who's only a sophomore and has now stepped up and been named a captain?
Yeah, definitely. As a leader, obviously, there's a lot of responsibility and roles that come with that. But yeah, having Hannah join me, 'cause in the spring I was obviously the only captain, but having Hannah join me through this has been a tremendous help. She's done amazing as filling in and stepping up to that role. But obviously, as being the only senior on the team, comes with there's a lot of girls on the team, but everyone has really bought into our process, to our culture, to our team, and so it's made the leadership role a little easier than normal.
And then just kind of, obviously last year was the first time you've had a chance to actually play in the RMAC tournament. What do you kind of have to do from a team standpoint, from an individual standpoint, to be able to take that and, kind of grow from there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Obviously we were 7th, I think, last year coming in at the RMAC, and that's what, starting day one, we were going to be top 5 RMAC. And so that's what we set our goal to be, that's our vision. And so just every day of practice, keeping that in the back of our minds, this is where we want to go, this is where we're going to be at, and just everyone individually, what do I need to bring to get the team there? Sometimes it's not always for yourself, it's put the team first.
And obviously that's, there's a lot of building process that goes into that. This is a really, really good volleyball conference, probably, if not the best in the country, probably the second best. You have probably 5 or 6 teams that are potentially going to the NCAA tournament every year. How do you kind of get, especially at the younger freshmen, how do you get them to not be intimidated by that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what we say is all the opponents are the same. They're all going to be tough. It's a tough conference, and so we just go in no game is going to be easy, but it's what we do, what we bring. And so just kind of focusing on we're really good at these things. This is what we excel at, and just focusing on that, and whatever they bring to us, we're ready for it.
And personally, what are some individual and then some team goals for this season for you?
Yeah, so team goals, obviously, top 5 in the RMAC. We want to make the NCAA tournament. Individually, I guess just do whatever I can to make my team succeed. Hopefully, get some assists, hopefully. But yeah, honestly, my goal is just do whatever I can to make the team succeed.
All right, thank you so much for joining me, Kiley.